Hey guys, today we are at M1 Concours in Pontiac, Michigan at the Champion Motor Speedway, and we have the Audi RS6. We're going to be doing a quick track test of this today. Just get a chance to move this thing around, see what it's like dynamically on a closed course, not on the street. I've been really impressed with this car this week. It's been a fantastic daily driver, incredibly comfortable, incredibly usable, and it looks amazing, I think, at least in this red. This is a heavy vehicle. It's close to 5,000 pounds, 590 horsepower, 591 pound-feet of torque, 8-speed automatic. It's a beast. Let's hop in and take it out for a few laps and see how it does. So we're gonna get all of our modes set up here. We're gonna put it into RS2 mode, which I have set to be the most aggressive drive mode. We've got drive and sport, suspension and sport, steering, engine sound, and everything else in sport. ESC is even in sport. We might even turn that off towards the end of this. I'm also gonna go into our RS monitor, where we can check out temperatures, engine oil, coolant, brake rotors, trans fluid, sport differential. It'll give us kind of different colors depending on how hot things get. And we can also measure our tire pressure there too. Very useful gauges, very nice. We'll leave it on this and head out. So we're just gonna leave things in automatic when we first get started, and I might manually shift the gears depending on how the transmission reacts. Power is just incredible with this car. It pulls and pulls and pulls. And that rear steer and that tight hairpin really helps get the car rotated. Brakes feel pretty good. This adaptive air suspension is doing a really nice job keeping things stiff and well sorted around corners. It's predictable, planted. Getting a little bit of understeer out of these Pirellis. But the harder you push, the more this car rotates, the better it gets. I said in my street drive review of this car, it's one of the best handling Audis I've ever driven. And it's doing really well on track. A little bit of a slide from the rear end there, nice and neutral on power. Love the balance here. The more you turn in, the more the car rotates. There's a little bit of understeer initially, but you can really lean on the suspension and the chassis, and that sport differential gets you rotated beautifully around a corner. It's a very approachable car, very accurate. I know right where I can place it. These Pirellis do complain quite a bit. Very neutral on power. Engine temp's getting up there a tad. 250 degrees for oil temp. Let's do a launch control start here. The power here is just amazing. And when you engage launch control, you get really harsh shifts, which is nice. The character of the sport differential is really fun. You can feel it rotate the car around beautifully. This isn't necessarily meant to be a track car, but it doesn't feel out of place out here. This is a very tough track on brakes, so I'm trying to heat manage as best as I can. Put it into full manual mode, see what that's like. I'm impressed. This car has held up really well on track. Brakes, you get a little bit of fade between corners sometimes, but then it dissipates very quickly, and the cooling must just be pretty good at speed and allow things to cool down enough so that you're back up to a good operating temperature. And of course, these are street pads. This is the steel rotors. These are not the carbon ceramic brakes. Oil temp is hovering around 245, 250 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a pretty good range. This car feels really stable, really balanced. These Pirellis do have a good amount of grip, but they're very vocal about it. They make a lot of noise. Overall, I think this is a great car. I mean, you can take this out to the track. I doubt many owners will. It definitely delivers out on a course and in a performance driving situation, which I think, being an RS product, it should. And on throttle, it's so neutral. Audi's done a beautiful job balancing this car. In manual mode, it's fun to drive. The paddles are responsive, easy to use. You just don't want to hit the rev limiter because it'll delay your shift quite a bit. The automatic transmission programming is pretty good on track. I'd like for it to downshift a little bit more sometimes, but you can always take control yourself. Even though this 4-liter V8 is muted, it does sound pretty good. It's not so quiet that I can't hear anything. Of course, I do have all the windows up. This RS6 just rockets out of corners. While we're on our cool down lap here, let's sum up the RS6 on track. Great car, it feels really nice. It's really well balanced. The suspension works very well to keep things neutral and poised and tight. On the street, this is such a soft ride that on track, it really kind of wakes up and gets nice and taut and firm, and it's predictable. The chassis, the suspension tuning, the rear diff, the drivetrain works really well to keep this car neutral and balanced and planted. There's just a little bit of oversteer out of corners on throttle from that sport differential. There's a nice level of safe, predictable understeer on corner entry. The harder you push, the more this car rotates with that rear steering as well. I'm also very impressed with this RS6's heat management. Oil temps never got past 250 degrees Fahrenheit. When I let off, they come down very quickly. M1 is a pretty tough track on brakes. There aren't a lot of opportunities here to get your brakes cooled off before the next big braking zone. And this RS6 held up beautifully. It's very cool being able to see my brake temps, trans temps, diff temps in this RS monitor screen. And I can kind of get an idea for how things are doing. Nothing ever overheated. The sport diff got a little hot and orange, but that's about it. This RS6 is maybe not fully track ready, but track capable, and that's good enough. If you changed out to a higher temp fluid and some stickier tires, you could track your RS6, which is pretty awesome. I think my favorite thing about this car is just how comfortable and livable it is, but also how capable and fast it is. It looks amazing. Everyone loves it. It's gotten a lot of positive feedback and responses from people just driving around on the street, people I've shown it to that I know. It's a very popular and exciting car to behold and to be near and to be around. And it's just as satisfying and nice to drive. At first, I wasn't quite sure about Audi's decision to kind of mute and tone down this RS6 in terms of exhaust note and ride comfort and everything, but I think it has a pretty good breadth of performance. The sport exhaust seems like it's a little bit quiet for being a sport exhaust, but otherwise, I think this is a really nice package. Yeah, I can't go wrong with an RS6. This is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Big thanks to M1 Concourse for having us come out on track today. They host a bunch of awesome automotive events here in the Detroit area. They've got some stuff going on during the Woodward Dream Cruise this year. A lot of track events, a lot of corporate events, lots of things you can do with your friends and coworkers. Check them out at m1concourse.com. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.
Your mobile device is still in the vehicle.